Hi, my name is Heidi. I wanted to make a video to hopefully help somebody out there get off of Suboxone at home without having to go to rehab. I was on 8 milligram strips for 9 years. Well, I switched from Suboxone to Subutex back to Suboxone, but just let you know that the strips are easier to get off of. Number one thing, because you can cut it and it's easier than trying to break the pill. But anyway, I was taking 2.5 a day, 8 milligrams. It started from a car wreck in 2004 or 5. I slipped a couple discs in my back. And so I went and seen a lawyer. He referred me to a doctor that was supposed to be top 10 doctors in the New York Times. So I felt comfortable going to him and trusted him. So he had put me on, like I said, 7.5 milligram Loratab for 2.5 years. I went in for my normal visit like I usually did every month. And he said, there's nothing else I can do for you. So he upped my dose to 10 milligrams, gave me 90 of them with 5 refills. And after I ran out of those, I started getting really sick, like I had the flu and, had the cold chills and just felt awful. I asked my friend, what's going on and blah, 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 blah. And she told me, you're withdrawing. And she basically scared me and saying how I was going to go through all this hell. So I called the doctor back, told him what was going on, and he referred me to a methadone clinic, which I went there. They accepted me in. I got stuck on that for 2.5 years, and it was just scaring me because I would be, in the line at the methadone clinic, and people were, I'd see somebody 1 week, and the next, they'd be dead because of methadone or mixing it with, Xanax and all that, which I'm not into. But I was just trying to get off the medication. Excuse me, sorry. Okay. Anyway, so I was on that for 2.5 years. They kept trying to up my dose, and they were like, "Oh, you need to go up higher. You need to go up higher." And I didn't think that was a good idea, but I'm just trying to listen to the professionals, and I just couldn't take it anymore. Having to get up so early, getting to the methadone clinic, making sure you get there before 11 a.m. or you're gonna miss your dose and be sick and blah 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 blah. So finally, I started seeing these billboards in the methadone clinic for Suboxone. I asked my counselor what was Suboxone, and she said, "Oh, it's to help you get off of pills or methadone." And she wouldn't even tell me, what doctors prescribed it. I had to research everything myself, in which I did. Got a hold of a doctor. He told me to lower my dosage. I was at 90 milligrams of methadone. That was the highest I ever got on it. And to lower it down to 20 milligrams in order to transition over to the Suboxone. Okay, so that's what I did. And actually, when I went down on the methadone, I was actually feeling better. Like, I had more energy. I wasn't so sleepy. I wasn't so, just out of it. And once I got down to the 20, it took me, I think, about 3 months to do that because I had to go down slowly. I went to the doctor. He prescribed me the Suboxone. They check your heart, do an EKG and everything before you go. But besides that, I got on it, and I took it like he told me, 3 times a day, 8 milligrams, so 24 milligrams a day, and I did that. So after a couple weeks, I just took 2 a day, and then I took after another 2 weeks, I just felt like I didn't need that much, and I was just so eager to get off of it, and I never had insurance or anything, so I've probably spent, in the course of all these years, $100,000 just to get off this crap. So basically around 3 months, I'd say, of being on the Suboxone, I didn't need it anymore. So I was excited to go back to the doctor and tell him, look, I haven't had this in 5, 6, 7 days. I think I'm good. I mean, that's what the purpose of it is to be on it short term and just to come off of it. And he's like, oh, no, you can't do that. You have to stay on it. You have to stay on it. You're going to get really sick. And you thought you were sick when you got off the Lortabs. Well, let me tell you. So I got back on it. And he said I have to taper down, which I told him I, kind of did. I just didn't feel like I needed it anymore. But, again, I was listening to the doctors, which you're supposed to trust. So then I was hooked. I couldn't get off of it. And I was on it now 9.5 years. And this was all in Florida. I live in Georgia now. So let me cut to the chase of how I got off of it. My family has always been pressure me, you got to get off this shit. Plus, me spending $225 a month just to go see the doctor, and then the medication itself, it would vary, $5, $6, $7, $8 a piece. And doing that really put a damper on my finances also. Then I was getting really scared about what it was doing to my liver, my brain. My teeth started, in the back, started crumbling. I mean, they still kind of look good in the front, but in the back, it's a different story. And it just was really worrying me, so I had to do something. It came to a point where when I was living in Florida that I just needed to move. Finally listen to my sister and move to Georgia, get away from people that I knew that took it, because they would run out and they'd be like, oh, Heidi, let me get some of your strips. And then if I ran out, oh, I need some of your... I was just tired of it. So number one thing is, if you can, get away from the people that abuse medications, or even just even if they don't abuse it, it's just good to stay away from people, if you can, away from people that are taking it. So that was my number one thing. But then when I moved to Georgia, I hadn't started weaning off yet, so I needed to find a doctor. This is when the frustration started really kicking in, because when I got here, it's Carter. I live in Cartersville, Georgia. It's a pretty small city, and it was hard to find a doctor that would even prescribe it. So all day long, I'm calling. I got a notebook of how many doctors are around the area that even prescribe it, and how much is it going to cost. Some would be $300, $400, just ridiculous prices on it. But anyways, I finally found one. It was quite a bit of a drive to go over there. At the time, I didn't have a vehicle, so I had to have my mother take me, and she couldn't see well when it's time to drive and everything, and I was just tired of stressing my family out about it. And I went to go see him. First they told me, oh, it's only going to be, if you get your doctor records from Florida, from your other doctor, your visit will only be $135. I said, okay. So I went through all this crap to get my records from there, which I did. When I went to go see the doctor, he was a straight asshole. Acting like I was some junkie or something, which I'm not. I really, just want to get off the stuff. And every doctor that I see, I tell them, I want to get off. Nobody would ever help me with it. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are probably experiencing the same thing. So, hold on, I'm trying to think. Still takes my brain a little while to get going here. Anyway, I went to the doctor, and he gave me 2 weeks worth at only 2 milligrams. I said, okay. I already explained to them I didn't have a whole lot of money. I'm just moving and everything, and whatever it takes, I just want to get off of it. So when it was time to check out, they're like, oh, your balance is $250. I'm like, $250? I don't understand why. Well, because of the things that the doctor had to do. I said, the doctor talked to me for maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I got my records all faxed over to you guys, so I'm just tired of all that bullshit with the doctor. So that just set it off in my mind, like, I gotta get off of it. I can't do it no more. So, I went to No way. No freaking way. Sorry, my sister's laptop died on me. So anyway, I was tired of going to the doctor and tired of them always bullshit me with lies about how much the price is going to be and everything. Try not to ramble, I'm sorry. I just want to give you guys a background of how this all happened. So, once I just couldn't take it anymore, I just had to make a decision just to be done. Just to be finally done with it and, cut the bullshit, quit the excuses. I'm just going to have to go through this horrible withdrawing. So I went back after 2 weeks, because he only gave me 2 weeks worth, and, and he gave me a month's worth when I went back the second time. When I went to the pharmacy, instead of them giving me 2 milligram strips, they accidentally gave me the 8 milligram strips. So I had a whole bunch of them, and I was able to, really I'm like, okay, this was a godsend. This never happens where they, mess up your milligram. Well, it does, but, not often. So that's why I thought, okay, this is a godsend. Let me cut these up and really get to it. So now I live in Georgia. I don't know anybody here except for my family. And so instead of taking 2.5 a day, I just started taking 2. I did that for about a week and a half. Then I started getting scared because they were getting a little bit low. So instead of taking 2, I would take 1.5, and so on and so on. Until I got to the very end, I was just taking little tiny slivers, and I wasn't feeling too good, but it was helping. And so some days I would just say, okay, can I get through this day without, even taking a little piece of one? It might just be all in my head, which, I think a lot of stuff is all in my head, but I don't know because I've been on it so long. I'm 32 years old, and let's see, I've been doing this since I was, I think, 23. So, I would not take one that day, and it'd be okay, it wouldn't be too bad. But then the next day, I would take that, then I'd wake up, I'm like, the sweating, the cold sweats, feeling like shit, the whole spiel. And I would take that little tiny piece, and it would actually give me energy to be able to go and, go work and do just daily activities. And I'm thinking, I can't believe that this little tiny, an 1/8 of a strip is actually doing this to me. And I can't believe I was taking 2.5 full ones of these a day. That's insane. This is some strong shit, and I didn't even realize it. My short-term memory was fading, gradually as I was taking it. I've always had a really sharp memory on things, and it was just really, really freaking me out, and I didn't know if I was going to go through seizures coming off of it or what. I am a bit of a hypochondriac, but I just had to do it. So what I did after I cut them all down, it was on Mother's Day. I had none left. That was it. And I told my boyfriend I've been with for 7 years, and he's been through pretty much this whole journey with me. Well, here we go. We're going to see what happens. So day 1 wasn't too bad. Day 2, I think the mental part of just not knowing what was going to happen, I was real irritable and just a bitch and, all that. Day 3, I was a severe bitch, starting to feel the effects of, the cold sweats. That's what I always feared, was having that chill of, don't know if you're hot or cold, you're sweating, your skin hurts, it feels like there's bugs under it, you can't even, your shirt hurts just touching your skin. And because at one point, about 5 or 6 years ago, I had been on the Suboxone, and I was on the methadone, I switched to Suboxone. When I was on the Suboxone for a while, I already told you, my doctor went on vacation, and he was not able to prescribe me my medicine, so I had to go back to that methadone clinic. That's when I got up to the 90 milligrams. I went back for like 6 months. I got up to 90 milligrams, and my mom had called me this one morning. She's like, Heidi, I will pay for you to go to back to the Suboxone doctor if you go this morning. And I knew that you had to wean down to 20 milligrams or, well, I was hoping it would just still work. They just told you, oh, you got to go down to 20. No, I just went ahead and did it. I went back to my old doctor. I said, yeah, I went back to the clinic because you were gone, and I'm back down to 20 milligrams. I didn't go up that high, and so he gave me the Suboxone. And so when that happened, that was really bad because I withdrew on my bedroom floor for almost 2 months and was still trying to take the Suboxone. I'd have the pharmacy would deliver them to my house. And so combining the Suboxone with the methadone still in my system made it 10 times worse. And so that's when I finally, after, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months of taking the Suboxone, it finally started working for me. I wish I just wouldn't have took the Suboxone and just sweated out the methadone, but, you know, you don't know what to do. So, anyway, at home in Georgia, okay, so we're back on day, like, 4 or 5. It started, I got the cold sweats, and, the anxiety, and, the restless leg syndrome is the absolute worst. It kept me up for 2 weeks. I could not sleep. There was days that I only slept maybe 30 minutes to an hour for a whole 24 hours. One night we're watching a movie, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and the movie is over. My boyfriend passed out on the couch, and I'm just sitting there, and just the legs just constantly stretching. You know, it just feels like somebody's pulling your ankles with a rope on the back of somebody else's truck and just yanking them and just stabbing you in the leg with just 1,000 knives. I'm sure you know if you've gone through this. But it's the absolute worst. And so the cold sweats didn't actually last that long, maybe a week and a half. But the restless leg syndrome went on for like almost a month, about 3 weeks. And that's what kept me up. So what I did was I went to the pharmacy here. I told them, because that's where I used to get my Suboxone, I told them, I'm getting off the Suboxone. Tell me what I can take to get off this shit. So I told her about my symptoms. She said, okay, first and foremost, with the leg cramps, the restless leg syndrome, I had a prescription for potassium, doctor's strength potassium. They had it on file that I never filled. She was like, I'm going to fill these for you. You need to take that and get you a heating pad. And Epsom salt. Take an Epsom salt bath. I was doing that like 6 times a day with Epsom salt baths. And I was tired of in and out of the tub, So the potassium pill once a day and the heating pad, it did wonders. The sleeping is that was a hard one, but she gave me some melatonin. It was supposed to be 10 milligram, but I'm paranoid about taking shit. This is the weird thing of why I got addicted to pills. I'm so paranoid of doing things like that. So I was like, oh, I'll just get the 3 milligram. I don't think I need 10. And thank God I only got the 3, because you take 1 melatonin pill, put it under your tongue, and that actually is like a psychological thing of, constantly you always had to put the Suboxone on your tongue. So it actually kind of helped me mentally, and I swear within about 30, 40 minutes it would knock me out. And it really helped. Also, and now here's the other thing. I wasn't eating very well. I really couldn't even eat. So what happened with my sister kept wanting me to come down. I just live a couple townhouses from her. And she was like, come down and do this detox. And they had this pulse machine thing. I'm not going to get on to that. Maybe in another thing. But come down here and do the detox. But I was so mentally insane and didn't even want to, I couldn't even be around anybody but my boyfriend. Why is this doing this? Help! Oh. It keeps, I'm sorry, it keeps blacking out, and I don't want to have to redo all this. It was hard enough for me to make this as it is. So, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the melatonin pills, aspirin. I don't know why. Aspirin works really good for me. Oh, she wanted me to do the 3-day detox. She sells this stuff called not Suboxone, but Shakeology, and she gave me a couple packs of those, which I can make another video on, or if you guys want to know about it, I could tell you about it on the comments. It is packed full of dense nutrition. It's from vitamins all over the world. I'm not trying to sound like a salesy person about it at all. I really think that is what helped me get through the rest of this, because it was just such hell. I'm a stubborn person. I don't like to listen to other people. So she brought me the packets. I mixed them up, and I mean, then the depression got really bad. I mean, I was on the couch. I couldn't even move, couldn't do anything. It felt like my arm was like a million pounds. Didn't even want to budge. I forced myself to get up off the couch and make a shake. And once I did, after about 30, 35, 40 minutes, I jumped up off the couch. And this is like 3 weeks in of my boyfriend seeing me just going straight through hell. I had to wear sunglasses around the house. I couldn't even have the light. It was just so sensitive. I was so sensitive to everything. I jumped up off the couch and started doing the dishes, walked the dogs, made the bed, did the laundry, and he was like, "What in the hell?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't know if it's in my head or if it's that Shakeology, but I'm going to try it again tomorrow." But the next day came, and I didn't do it. I still felt okay the next day. So we're talking about day probably 22, 23 at this point. Felt okay, and then the next day after that, I started feeling I don't even want to go outside. I don't want to talk to nobody. Blah, 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 blah. My boyfriend made me a shake for me, drank it. Again, and within 30, 40 minutes, I was up, doing everything again. Unfortunately, my sister had ran out of it, and I only had like 2 packets left. So that's why I know that the Shakeology worked, because once I ran out of it, I just started getting down again. But we had to wait about, a couple more days, maybe a week before we got some more. And it just started just dwindling away. And it really did help. I wish I would have listened to her in the beginning of doing this. So that's why I wanted to make this video, to hopefully help somebody out there. I want somebody to discover how great this stuff is. And I really do think it made a big impact with my mental state, my physical, everything. It's good for your digestive system and everything else. So, trying to think of anything else that I need to tell you before I click this off. No, I don't know. I just hope this helps somebody. I'm not really good at making videos, so I'm sorry if this seems a little off or whatever. But I am on day 132. It's a little over 4 months, and I am feeling better each and every day. So just know that you are able to do it. If I can do it, like I always say, anybody can do it, because I'm a puss when it comes to pain and, stuff like that. So anyway, I hope this helps somebody, and thank you for watching.